Welcome, I'm Jon Caldara, president of the Independence Institute and your devil's advocate. Later on, a one-on-one with a former ambassador for Iraq. You don't want to miss that. But first, I want to talk about, you becoming a land speculator. Well, your government becoming a land speculator. From the city council from Westminster. Glad to see you. Westminster. I said Westminster. I didn't mess it up. Bruce Baker, thank you for being here.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me.
But now I'm going to say Westminster just to piss you off. All right, I wanted to use what's going on in Westminster, I like that, Westminster as an example of what's going on in so many cities, of city governments getting into the land speculation game with other people's money, taxpayer money. I remember the Westminster Mall, and it was a mall. It's not much of a mall now. And let me see if I got this right. You guys just bought it.
We did indeed buy it. We bought it more than up to 3 years ago now.
The city owns a mall.
Yes, sir.
Let me just do this one more time because I'm having a hard time with this one. Now, I understand the city owning roads and, doing sewers, police. Owning a mall doesn't seem to be a core governmental function for me.
No, it's not a core. It's not one of our core functions. And even more so, we had the extra money lying around, which is most eye-opening for most people.
What'd you pay for?
Because they think, well, we have, in the exact land acquisitions, we have more than $30 million. But when you add on all of the other things we've done to it, we're up to about $37 million right now.
So the generous taxpayers of your kind city decided to spend $37 million instead of fixing the roads or better health services or better police services. The city council decided,
or even lower taxes,
or even lower taxes. Heaven forbid. They decided to play Monopoly with taxpayer money.
Correct. And I don't think most of our taxpayers know that either.
I would doubt that they do. All right, but let's get into the nitty-gritty of this. The idea is for economic development, that what we're going to do is we're going to build this property, we're going to sell it to some great developer, we're going to speculate, we're going to give them all sorts of tax breaks, and then the city is going to be awash in new sales taxes. Is that the basic plan? Very much so.
That mall used to be the goose that laid the golden egg for our city. And it gave us so much sales tax because it was a destination mall. So we reaped far more sales tax than a standard of the commercial retail base in a city would give. And that gave us the ability to do all kinds of things. But we got way too carried away with it. And when the owners of the old mall didn't really comply to the wishes of, the city, we tried at first carrots and then we moved to sticks. And the stick is when we had this dream for what we wanted, and people in the city call it really community building, but that's more code word.
Code word for extortion.
Well, and for building this dream that they have. We had this dream for the mall even before we owned the mall.
Well, tell me what this dream is. The city government has a dream. That's wonderful. With other people's money. What is the dream for the Westminster Mall?
Our dream is to build a high-density, walkable, bicycle-friendly, car-hating downtown. So all of the joys of being in downtown Denver, we want to plant right in the middle of Westminster.
Urban planners gone wild. There's nothing. What's great about urban planners is that they plan, but then they use the power of government to get their dreams to happen. That is, they work with developers, and they get certain breaks. The best one is something called tax increment financing, the TIF plan.
Correct.
Is this on the table in Westminster?
Absolutely. We have in the city a very experienced, brilliant staff. And they've used this method before to advance some of the projects we have. And they think they can do it again. They think they can replicate it again. And this time it's to build exactly what we want. We never had any competition for this site. It's always been just what the planners wanted.
So in other words, the city is going to decide what this formerly private space is going to look like.
Correct.
For people's homes and people's businesses.
Correct.
So Hitler liked to plan cities too. He was one of the greatest urban planners. He was there with the models and doing the rest. The difference here is government is giving certain businesses breaks and other businesses nothing. We see this in city after city, which was why this is only an example of what's going on.
Exactly.
I think about every time I drive by that IKEA store, that store got all sorts of tax breaks and tax loopholes from Centennial, but mom's furniture store down the street got none of that. Why? Because they're not as connected. I'm assuming the same thing is being teed up in your city.
Exactly. And if you just go 20 blocks north of the Sheridan of the Boulevard, we have a wonderful residential development going on. And there, well, the builder had to meet all the barriers and all the hoops and all of the requirements that we imposed upon him. He's going to build all the streets, he's going to build all the sewers, he's going to build a water system according to our standards, and then turn them over to us when he's done for free. He's also going to pay the water taps, he's also going to pay the park fee, he's also going to donate open space. And yet at the mall, we're not going to require the developer to do that, the developer that we chose. And that's truly the problem here, is that as a city, as a government, we should have a neutral playing field, and we should be the referee on it. But in this case, we've become the participant, and we've been able to use some of the very powerful tools government has to bias the outcome.
What a great comparison. That here's a guy who's building a housing development, and he is risking his investors' money.
Correct.
And the city says, you got to meet this bar, you got to meet this bar, you got to give us streets and water and parks and all this other stuff. All the risks on you. The beautiful thing about these TIF programs and redevelopment programs is you switch it all and you say, you know what? The risk is on the taxpayer now. The risk will be whoever we decide we want to do business with, and the taxpayers just spent $35 million plus, and they don't even really realize it.
And in this case, it is wrong. It is absolutely wrong. And in this case, it's even worse because of the way the TIF works. And TIF's a pretty complicated thing, but the best way to think of it is we're diverting taxes. There is no free lunch. You just can't pull millions of tax dollars out of the air. We're taking it from some other level of government. And in the case of this development, because it falls on the west side of the Sheridan Boulevard, we're going to be taking a significant amount of money away from the Jefferson County schools.
Right, stop there. Because up until every talking just another grumpy guy who's trying to stop government's wonderful work building utopia. But even if you don't live in Westminster, this thing is going to be able to cost you taxes, particularly the Jefferson County School District.
Correct.
Explain that real quickly.
Well, what happens is when we do a TIF, the big losers are really counties, because counties just lose all of the money they would have got. Schools get some.
In other words, there was property tax there.
Exactly.
And that property tax, when the private owner was going to be paid, and Jefferson County Schools was going to get a hunk of that money.
Well, no, I'm basically talking about Jefferson County government. So I'm talking about the money that runs the jail, the money that runs the sheriff, the money that runs social services, the money that pays for the Taj Mahal. All that money, that's just gone. Jefferson County, for the next 25 years, will lose that. What I'm talking about is the schools. In this case, Jefferson County Schools has about 50 mils of tax. Okay? We're going to get the vast majority of it. The city of Westminster, through our WIDA and through our urban renewal area, is going to get the vast majority of that money.
Nicely done.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's
part of the money the state's going to give back, up to really 27 mils. But the other 23 mils, the ones that build the school buildings and all this, Jefferson County can secretly raise the taxes of people in Golden, in Lakewood, all over the county, because it's one school district.
Because they're going to lose money where you are.
Right.
All right. Give me the quickest answer. What is it that people need to know about Westminster and this scam?
What we need to do is, this is not good government, okay? The details of this are not good government. We have not committed to this plan yet. We have chance to change the direction on this, but only if the people of our city speak up and say, we can do a better job than this.
Let me tell you, it's not just Westminster, it's coming to a city near you. Bruce, thank you. Stay tuned.
Thank you, John.